You see, it's hard, dude. It's hard to plan a Disney trip. It's not easy.
Yeah.
The simple fact is, it's extremely difficult. But we're going to try and help you guys through it. Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Cole.
Welcome to our home. Today, we're going to share with you all how to plan a Disney vacation, starting with when to go. Thank you guys for joining us. We do want to help you navigate through your Disney vacation by planning a trip with as little stress as possible. Now, we were playing around with our argument, but the simple fact is, it is a stressful thing to plan. And the first thing you need to figure out is, when am I planning to go to the park? So in this video, we're going to give you 7 questions that I regularly ask when trying to figure out when we're going to plan our trip. And so we're going to do that as kind of an overview right up front. And so if you want to see that part, just keep watching right now. But then we're going to give you guys a picture of what it's like for me to pick out different hotels and try and figure out when to go and all that according to those hotels. And so we're going to utilize not only the resort, but which park we're going to go to, which restaurant we're going to go to, how many days we're going to be there, and what time of the year. And so we're going to draw randomly 12 different times of the year, and of those 12, that's where we're going to pick up the information for you guys. So to get started, let's go over that. Oh, before I go any further. So if you guys want to skip forward to the scenarios, Cole's going to put a stamp into the description underneath the video, and you can scroll down, find that stamp, and click it. He should have a picture up for that for y'all right now so that you can scroll down and know what to look for.
And when you click it, it'll automatically take you to the scenarios.
There you go. So to get started on the overview, here are the questions that I generally ask. First question is, when do I get vacation time from work? My spouse might get vacation time from work, and my kids get time from school. And so that's going to vary from one place to the next. I know, for instance, I only have certain sections of the season of the year to take vacation. And my wife, she can take it pretty much any time. And so those two things work out well for us. I just, they're not so conflicting. My kids, however, they also have seasons when it's easier to take vacation. And so you want to think about those things and decide, is this a time frame when we can take vacation? And that'll help determine what you're going to do.
Very much so.
The second question is, do you want to go during a holiday? Is it really worth it to go at a holiday? So major times at Disney World are Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, all your major holidays that most people get off work. That's going to be the time frame when everybody's trying to go. Yeah. So the parks are going to be packed, and they're packed.
Oh, they're packed.
And so if that's okay with you and you're like, I don't mind the crowd, well then that's great.
And
but
sometimes
you want to think about that.
And sometimes people want to go during the holidays. I know Mom, for example, loves to go during Christmas because of the theming and everything else around the time. So that's another thing to take into consideration.
Yep. So the third question I would ask is, how expensive are the resorts? And are there any specials during that time frame?
Yeah.
How expensive are the resorts, and are there any specials at that time? So sometimes of the year they offer specials because it's less busy. So I know when we're shooting this video right now, they've recently announced Disney Dining Plan for free if you book a resort at full price. And so that can save some money depending on what all your other circumstances are. So be checking into those things. Sometimes the summertime has discounts, the fall time will have discounts. Rarely at Christmas or anything like that is there any discount. Fourth thing, how much is the airfare going to cost? Airfare can be expensive depending on what time of year it is, depending on if it's a holiday or not, depending on if they're having a special. And so you'll want to think about airfare when planning your trip. Fifth thing is, is my desired resort available? You know, if I want to stay at a certain resort, let's say it's the Grand Floridian, is that going to be available? Am I wanting to stay at All-Star Sports? Is that available? You know, any of those sort of things are things you're going to want to think about and check into before you really start asking for time off and getting too heavy into the planning process. Number 6, how far from the resort are the activities that I want to be involved in? So let's say I want to go to the Magic Kingdom. I may not want to pick a hotel that's, you know, all the way across Disney where my only line of transportation is a bus.
Like Kidani Village. That's a good one.
Well, Kidani Village or Saratoga Springs. And so I may want to pick a resort that's right there on the monorail that can just take me straight to the Magic Kingdom. If my big ticket in my mind is I'm going to go to all the parks and Disney Springs and I'm going to be there for a long period of time, well, then suddenly something like Saratoga Springs or Kidani Village is fine. Everything's going to be having to be gotten to somehow or some form. And so you just want to think about those things when getting ready to plan. 7th thing, what types of transportation are offered from my hotel when I'm traveling to whatever those activities are? The reason I bring these things up in the middle of planning a date is you've got to know those things in order to pick which hotel, in order to check when the hotel is available. And so considering all those facts are vital for what you're planning to do. So for the next portion of the video, we're going to get into some of those scenarios we were just talking about. In order to do so, I've taken some of our business cards and I've written numbers on them, 1 through 12. And the reason is we're going to randomly pick what resort, what park, what restaurant, what days, all those sort of things, and what month of the year we're going to be visiting Disney. And so we're going to do that by putting those inside of this box.
And this is a good example on
And so we'll shake it up.
And this is supposed to be a good example on how to planning a Disney World vacation. Correct?
Correct. This is a good example of planning a Disney World vacation. So put the lid back on. We're going to shake it up real good, and then I'm going to hold it above Cole's head, and he's going to reach in and draw. So whatever number he picks is what we're going to do off of our list. So we have a list over here for us that we can see. Reach in and grab one. And so whatever number comes out, that's what we're going to run with. So number 6, as you guys can see, number 6. And so for our list, number 6 is staying at the Contemporary, and it is going to Animal Kingdom, and it is
the restaurant we're
wanting to eat at 50's Prime Time Cafe. And we're going to plan to be at the park for 2 whole days. And we're going to go in February. So, with that in mind, if I started asking my questions, is this a good idea? Well, first off, I'm going to find that in February, question number 1, having to do with school and vacation time. Well, I know for myself, I can't really take vacation too easily in February. It would have to just be a short trip. Lucky for us, this is a 2-day trip. So I could theoretically take this trip. So I pass on question number 1. Number 2, do I want to go during a holiday? Well, you know, there's not too many holidays in that time frame, but there is Valentine's Day. So we could theoretically say I want to go during Valentine's Day. So number 2, if I wanted to do that, I could. Third thing, how expensive is the resort during this time? Well, let's find out, shall we? The Contemporary, during this time we said February, and we said Valentine's Day. We'll stay from Friday to Sunday. Check out on Sunday. right there near Valentine's Day. And it looks like that is a no-go. The Contemporary is not available that weekend. So I'm not able to book the trip that I'm after. So we've made it through question number 3, and the answer is a negative. I'd have to find another resort. Let's draw another card. We've done number 6. All right, Cole, reach in there and get a card. All right, number 9.
Number 9.
There we have it, number 9. So number 9. We're going to stay at Pop Century, and we're going to go to Epcot, and we're going to want to eat at Chef de France, and we're going to want to stay for 3 days, and number 9 happens to be September. All right, so I'm going to tell you, because I plan lots of vacations, I love this trip already.
Me too.
So number 1, does it fit a vacation schedule for me? As far as the time of year, it is more difficult for me to get off, but it can happen. So it's possible, and it's also possible for my children with the circumstance that they're in. It may not be for you. If you were in a normal school atmosphere, it probably is not. Number 2, do you want to go during a holiday? Well, September does not have a holiday, but they do have a festival at Epcot, so that's as good as a holiday to me.
And it works really well because we're trying to go to Epcot.
That's right, and so that works. How expensive are the resorts? Well, if we were going to stay at Pop Century, it is not that expensive. That's one of the less expensive hotels at Disney. Then how much it, and it's also at a least expensive time of the year in September. Number 4, how much is the airfare going to cost? The airfare is not going to be that expensive during September. There's nothing really heavily going on. And so as long as you're dodging holidays during that time, the airfare's great. Number 5, is my desired hotel available? Well, let's check. We're pretty far out, so I have a feeling it's available. And so I would run on here and I would hit the button and I would say September, and I would pick a date. How about we go from the 12th, how about we do the 11th through the 13th of 2020, and we click, try and find the best resort. So that comes up, we scroll down, and Pop Century is not available. So we just lost our chance to stay at the Pop Century during that time. So that's the reason we go through these questions and ask them, is I'm not able to take that trip now. And so before I got too heavily into the planning and too excited, I figured out I can't go to that hotel. Scenario number 3. And I know we didn't answer all those questions. That's okay. We already figured out we can't take the trip. Pick one out.
Number 2.
Number 2.
That means we'll be going to the Polynesian, as well as the Magic Kingdom. We're going to try and eat at Be Our Guest. We're going to try and stay for 4 days. And we're going to be there in June.
All right, so let's start with a couple of quick ones. Do I have the ability to take vacation in June? Well, I do, Tammy does, and the kids do. It's one of the more expensive times of the year at Disney, but it is a possibility. Magic Kingdom, well, let's start this way. Is there a holiday in June?
Well, I mean, summer.
But is there a holiday? No holiday, but we are on a summer schedule. Number 3, how expensive are the resorts? So in June, the resorts do get more expensive. But if you go usually the first week or the second week of June, sometimes the second week, but the first week it's usually less expensive. So let's search June of 2020, and we're going to do the first weekend in June. So the 5th through the 7th. Nope, we were staying for 4 days. The 5th through the 9th. So now that it's come up, we'll scroll down. The Polynesian is going to cost $752 a night and 85 cents. Now that's the price per night, but let me tell you this, that is after a Sun and Fun discount. It's normally $836.50 a night, so that's pretty expensive, but it is a discount time frame, so if you're okay with that, that works. So that kind of gets you through how much it's going to cost. And so the next thing we want to say is, obviously it was available, but number 4, how much is the airfare going to cost? And so we can check that out, and let me look that up here. So on the way down there, and then on the way back, looks like about $500 a person. And so that $500 per person could be looked at closer to your trip time, in June. So we're a little far out for a lot of those airlines to have given a great discount. I'm sure that there are some that could get you down to around $350 or so a person at this time even. But we're not going to take the time to look those up. And then, of course, we're going to be there for 4 days. That'll be good. How much is the desired hotel available, which we already answered. Number 6, how far from my activities is my hotel? Well, we've actually taken this trip, so the Polynesian is on the monorail that goes to the Magic Kingdom where we want to eat, which is be our guest. So that works out really well. And since June is kind of a rainier month, that works out really well because you're able to take the monorail and not have to stand out in the rain or have any issues. Depending on what hotel you choose, that can be an issue. Number 7, what type of transportation is offered? Well, we have the monorail, and then you have a ferry boat to get to the Magic Kingdom. But then you also have the buses to go to the others. And if you wanted to take the monorail, you could ride it all the way and switch over at the Ticket and Transportation Center and go to Epcot on it. And so there are pretty good transportation there from the monorail. From the Polynesian, since you have the monorail and the ferry boat involved. And so that wraps up 3 scenarios. So if you liked the video and you want to see more like it, please comment down below. Tell me what you're needing help planning or figuring out. I'll try and put out some videos regarding those issues. Also, if you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button and you'll be able to see more videos that we put out. And if you want to get a notification when we put a new video out, hit the bell notification. And until next time, from our house to yours.